Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the TWAB. And like I mentioned in my last article video, usually the TWABs have been short because for some reason, instead of making TWABs extra long, including a lot of updates for the future, they've been making articles about things and then using TWABs to clarify some things. So going into the TWAB. So of course, there's the festival, the things that go over, some stuff between here and now. Festival Lost Armor set voting is out, so if you saw an email from in your account that said something about the Lightfall weapons trailer that has dropped, that was also the voting for the sets of armor for Festival Lost, so that is that. As well as before, deep sight weapons obtained at the helm are now on daily rotation, so you can buy a deep sight from every vendor once a day. Then Iron Banner reputations have been increased. Some Bungie stores will rewards will expire at season end, and other economy updates. Then on to this TWAB. So they talk about the exotic gear trailer. Reminder to check the Weapon Sandbox blog. Black History Month. Supposedly blues are gone again for real this time. Voting for the next Trials map and pre-launch downtimes. So getting into the main details. So the video, it enlightens some details regarding the exotics. So like I said, honestly, it's a lot of the stuff I said before. So final warning, specifically. Holding down the trigger of this kinetic slot strand sidearm, and I already guessed, we do have strand damage right off the bat, to mark targets within range and load a burst of bullets. When hip firing, projectiles will track aggressively towards marked targets. So essentially it sounds like Alpha Umi / Cryosthesia combination, but strand. Basically hold down the trigger and look at something, to load a round, but then hip firing. So this might be a case of aim down sights, you charge around. Hip firing might be just normal shots from the sound of it. Then we also have Detrimistic Chaos. While holding the trigger, every fourth bullet of this Void machine gun becomes a heavy projectile that weakens targets on impact. Every fourth heavy projectile marks targets volatile on impact. So for the sound of it, it's a little bit different than what I thought. Every fourth round is a weakening shot, and then the fourth weakening shot will volatile something. Yeah, Detrimistic Chaos is going to be the machine gun version of Divinity, I think. Then also something that disappointed a lot of folks, which I don't know why, considering how OP it might actually be, but a heavy slot exotic stasis glaive that fires a large ball of energy that locks onto nearby targets and freezes them. I don't know, honestly, why people were surprised. I get that, logically, a stasis glaive should be a kinetic slot, but then that might be too OP, considering then you could just run 2 glaives all the time. And then on other points, occasionally something's too powerful to be just special ammo. And from the sound of Winterbite, honestly, it sounded like it might have been too OP. It's like if Leviathan's Breath took special ammo. So, not exactly angry. I'm excited for a stasis glaive, but, I didn't want one particularly. So, they must have Cytaranch's Facade, which is, details of before. After grappling, this exotic helmet gives extra protection. As hunters gain body armor, only body, the heads are still vulnerable, so headshots with snipers, 3 taps to hand cannons will still work, and they also gain some flinch resistance, so not too OP, I hope. Then we also have a Buoyant Leap for Titans. When Titans use their barricade, it gives extra armor to its wielder and spawns 2 additional seeking projectiles that track aggressively towards targets and suspends them, which I'm assuming is another version of Stasis Freeze. Also, I thought it was 3. I could have sworn in the trailer we saw 3, but regardless. Then we also have Swarmers, a new exotic leg armor for Warlocks to create Thudlings to infest and attack enemies after destroying a tangle. Essentially, exotic boots that act like Colony. So we also get a look at this, and of course we'll be getting some more than just what they've told us, but of course they can't say everything right off the bat. And of course, nice little shot of Final Warming, Detrimistic Chaos, as well as Winter Bite. Which, when you look at this thing, are you surprised that this is a heavy bow or a heavy glaive? 80% of the weapon is the blade. I'm pretty sure this is also going to be another aggressive frame glaive on the top of it, so, that makes sense. So, of course, they had the weapons tuning article, which we talked about in yesterday's video, which essentially the TLDR is machine gun and heavy grenade launcher buffs. Machine guns getting more ammo, grenade launchers getting damage, and blast radius increase. Bonus damage for kinetic weapons, meaning headshots will reward more for specifically kinetic weapons, not stasis, just kinetic. Linear fusion rifles are getting adjustments in the frame of nerfs, and Vice Stinger getting a little bit of I almost said demonetized. A nerf. Subclass verbs for more exotic weapons, meaning things like Leviathan's Breath can make things volatile. 1,000 Voices will make things scorch, among other things. And some tuning to various perks as seen previously. So then as well, apparently blues are gone after this week's hotfix eliminated more source of blue engrams. Now, once you hit powerful or power cap, powerful enemies that used to have a small chance of dropping or a blue engram will drop a purple engram instead. While more valuable, this replacement doesn't relieve as much inventory or postmaster pressure as we would like, and will need additional update to get us to our ultimate goal. Early in Lightfall, we're planning to have more powerful enemies instead drop Glimmer, and occasionally a purple engram whenever they would have dropped a blue engram to help keep your postmaster inventory clean. Additionally, we've recently boosted gunsmith reputation gains and other sources by 25% to help everyone rank up Banshee 44 even faster. Now, quick tangent. A buddy of mine and I both kind of agree on a solution to this, because we have both discovered the issues of a full postmaster wiping out 10 ascendant shards and 50 enhancement prisons we had just loaded into the postmaster. Why not prioritize rarities? If you don't know what that means, things like before when they did existed, blues and upward were the only things that sent to postmaster. Blues, purples, and exotics. Anything lower than that, if you missed it, they just stayed. If you had a white engram drop when power was able, they would just not postmaster. Same thing with green, as well as random green materials. Why not do that with the postmaster and prioritize things so that when your inventory is filling up, unless you have a literal 30 grid of exotics, all the blues that you get, if there's no room for it, deletes blues before ascendant shards or exotic engrams or something actually valuable in the inventory. Aside from my rant, Lightfall downtime, of course. Lightfall will be brought offline for a full day starting at 9 a.m. Pacific on the 27th, the end of the month. You can check your local time there if you need any details on, time zones and all that. Players be reminded of the downtime in-game on our social media channels before it shall start. So that likely means from 9 a.m. Pacific on the whole day before. So the Monday, if you're trying to cram anything before Lightfall, it'll be brought offline. So if you want to grind out your bounties or do whatever you want before Lightfall, it shuts down a day before, so get it done. And of course, once the game is brought online and Lightfall is launched, signing queues as expected, especially during the first hours and peak play times, will be, it's going to be the usual launch of a year and a season. Now, as well, let's see. Cabal, Scorpions, East, and Tough Love. Velas Forge wants to remind us that the last week of Iron Banner for the new expansion. Therefore, it's your last chance to gild the Iron Lord title if you haven't already. Increasing reputation gains off the board to take in consideration when jumping into Fortress. If you are more into the exclusive gear of the event, you might want to grab some extra rolls of the weapons that are leaving the loot pool. Make it known, the Iron Companion sets aren't going anywhere, but both Frontier's Cry hand cannon and the Razor's Edge sword will go away to make room for the new Bite of the Fox and Murum's Claw versions. Now, of course, that means they'll be reworked, but of course that means Frontier's Cry and Razor's Edge will probably be gone until their next rework. And of course, Iron Banner will be a 3-week event again starting in Season 20. Hopefully that means that when Iron Banner is active, Boosted Valor is active. That way I don't have to spend a week in Crucible with Boosted Valor to get its things done, and then a week in Iron Banner to get Boosted Banner. But aside from that, of course, Black History Month is still being celebrated again in a more, I believe the pins are available, and that usual thing happens during every Black History Month. In case you have anything, there are things at the store, as well as blog posts and things to relate, in case you are, into... I want to say a part of the movement, but that's not really a movement. That's just a thing. Now, of course, polls are open, which means that if you are opted into Bungie marketing emails, you can vote for the next week of Trials, which is either on the Fortress, Twilight Gap, or Radiant Cliffs, if you so wish to vote. Now, an important update. Beginning the next Tuesday on the 30th, or beginning of last Tuesday, I should say, Destiny player support began seeing reports from players who are recently deleted characters concerning character progression lost upon the reappearance of previously deleted characters. After investigation into player logs, the team was able to address the cause of this issue, and we believe only a limited population of players that had deleted an existing character within 48 hours of the release were affected. I want to reiterate, players, that we take the safety of player data very seriously and are continuously working to ensure that player data remains safe and intact. We'll continue monitoring the situation closely, though we believe the issue has been resolved. More information at Bungie Help. Now, of course, reminders. The last Iron Banner for the season begins last Tuesday. 24-hour Destiny downtime in preparation for Lightfall. Season 20 begins, and of course, Lightfall, as well as unclaimed 2022 Prime Game rewards expire, in case you need reminders on anything. Now, so known issues. The redacted quest cannot be picked up from a player's bounty if inventory is full. Players will need to make room in their inventory to pick up the quest step. I believe this is for the finale that's going to be coming up in the next 2 weeks for Season of the Seraph. So, Make sure you got some inventory space, folks. It's really important. Some Season of the Seraph armor may display the message, unlock this item in collections to purchase when viewing the seasonal vendor screen. If a player sees this message, they may still need to earn the armor elsewhere before purchasing additional armor from the vendor. The Take a Seat emote displays a dark outline when players on activated. The Forged in Grace emblem does not display its name when hovered over in player inventories. At the end of Operation Sanka something, the mission does not indicate that Rasputin is the one speaking. On the Europa map for Heist Battlegrounds, Cryptolith towers may appear to reactivate after they are deactivated. This is a visual issue and does not affect gameplay. And on the Mars map, when a player's ghost is hacking, viewing the director will incorrectly show 2 objectives on the map. And as usual, for the full list of emergent issues in the Destiny 2, players can review the known issues article and report anything to help forums. Quick side note, why is this line smaller font than this line? Whoever's writing the TWABs now, stop it. One font size, please. DMG was way better at this, in my opinion. And then, of course, we have usual Bungie art as well as media of the week. Some great-looking art from an odd pick. They say Iron Seraph, but their ghost is the one from Deepstone Crypt. That's weird. And a pretty cool look at their hunter from there. And, of course, that is the end of the TWAB. The last details. Short TWAB, but long additional articles. Expect this to continue as usual, I believe, in case this is just the new norm when it comes to things. My name is Matt Scorpion. I'll see you in the next one.